So what did you do in your movement?
I pulled up these bikes here, so they're on both objectives now. I turbo boosted these ones, but they didn't quite have enough to get to this objective. I moved my Ludas in the hopes to pull them off the objective, but I rolled a 1 on their movement. I really wanted to get them up here.
So they may not make the charge.
And the Gretchen are just gonna get in the way of the Lord, so he cannot get over there. That's about it.
Curse
so
you.
I don't have too much shooting. My bikes here are gonna shoot
Those
the
guys.
Necrons.
Okay.
So 1 so far. I had 1 more.
2.
And
No. Oh.
1 wound.
1 regular Necron. Made it.
And I'm gonna run these guys.
6 inches. So they're just gonna...
They're gonna deny the Lord going anywhere.
You devil you.
Actually, let's pull him that way a little bit more so he can't even be within 3 inches of it.
You devil.
And charging. Let's hope the Ludas make it in. Come on, Ludas. Yes.
Yeah, they do.
With a 6. And that's almost nice for me that only one of them touches you. That means all your other guys are going to fall back.
Alright, so all my guys will come around, try and base on base miniatures. So he's climbing on there. We'll have him climb on that.
One more here.
Okay. Alright, so you have grenades on those Ludas?
I don't, so you were actually first.
Alright, so they have a full complement, right? There's 11 of them there?
Yep.
Okay, 4s and 4s. This is it, boys. Oh, that's an awful roll. Nicely done.
So 3 hits.
2 wounds.
And 6 up saves. Nothing.
So 2 Ludas die. Alright.
So that leaves me with 6 Ludas, so 18 attacks.
And they got Furious Charge as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the point where actually just sit there and stay.
All right.
And you have to like regroup or something. Make your leadership test.
All right, let's see if we can get some more in here now. So you got 6 wounds.
All right, 6 guys. 4 die. So I lose combat by 2.
Yep.
So on an 8 or better I stay. I do. So here's the 4 that died. We'll see if they get back up. 2 of them do. So a total of 2 are gone. Blip, blip. Okay, over here.
And yeah. All right, it's all up to you.
2 hits.
Not making me feel very confident with only 2 hits. 2 wounds.
2 wounds, that's better than he usually does. All right, so regular guy, it's fine. Cryptek is fine. Coming back with my 3 attacks. There we go. They know how to hit. 1 wound.
And I need a 6 up or he's dead. Come on.
You made it, that's awesome. That's classic.
Those Augstra go, yeah.
That's great, man. All right, so my turn 6.
Yep.
Do that real quick. Okay, so my movement consisted of me pivoting this pylon, or whatever it's called, monolith, and pulling the Lord that was over here through it. And that was it. That was all my movement. These guys have this objective. I'm contesting that one, so it's just that one that's holding me back.
Yep.
Holding back the might of this Necron dynasty. Speaking of Necron dynasties, we'll do some shooting. We're gonna do, man, I don't wanna blow my own Necrons up in this situation. So we're gonna, yeah, I don't care. We're gonna blow the Necrons up. We got Wilbux, we're not afraid. We're gonna put the temple right on that guy from this big guy here. Wow, that's awesome. That's phenomenal.
How many inches?
7.
7.
Right in the middle of that.
So,
combat.
3 of yours and 2 of mine.
Here's your 2. They take 2 wounds.
Here's your 3. Take 1.
So 1.
Or what's the
cover?
Yeah,
Yeah, cover
strength,
saves.
right?
Yeah.
Here's my 2 cover saves. So 1 of mine died.
All right. other one, doing the same thing, same place.
Okay.
That'll hit. So how many of those little
So
grotlings
one
do I
bite
get?
and 2 Gretchen.
Here's the bike. He takes a wound. Gretchen. Okay.
Because if
Then
he
not-
dies, I don't control one anymore. Whoops, that doesn't work. Let's try a different dice. I rolled a scatter dice. So strength 8.
Yep.
So he's dead.
Yay. All right. Okay. Now what? That was all my shooting.
Okay, so here's the leadership on this guy. If he passes, it's probably a tie game. If he fails, you win. And he's good.
He passed. Awesome. All right. I have one more gambit. My Necron Lord is charging the Gretchen.
Okay.
Okay. So
Oh, because you might be able to consolidate into.
might be able to consolidate in if I win and you fall back. But you go first.
That's true.
You never know. You could roll, do 5 wounds, and I could roll 5 ones. It's
So
possible.
here's his fight. Their 5 attacks.
They hit 4 times, and they need
And
6s.
I need 6s. 2 wounds. Oh,
No,
that's awesome.
He made his saves. Here's his 4 attacks. He flopped.
So we sit.
Tie game.
Yep.
Tie game. Good game, sir.
Very good.
All right, man. Let's grab you a chair and then we'll talk about we'll recap. All right, Wes. Good game. What was your best unit? You think? Your MVP.
I'm just gonna have to. Well.
You know, we never finished that combat out. We should do that real quick, just for fun.
All right. So here's Zogstruck. I was gonna say
Steve's-
Zogstruck just because he keeps living.
Well, yeah, you gotta see the challenge. Does Zogstruck live his final round?
So he hits 4 times.
Zogstruck is angry.
Wounds once.
Regular guy lived. Here's my 3 attacks back. I hit once. I wounded once.
And I need another 6.
Zogstruck!
No. Okay. So he is no longer my MVP. I'd probably say. Or a war boss because you're charging it at strength 10.
Right.
So.
What about the Death Dreads?
Death Dreads, They're okay, but it's
If they got in close combat.
Takes, yeah, if they get in combat, they're going to do good, but it takes a lot to get them there, and they probably die before they get to them in the first place.
That's true.
Especially with Necrons and all their glancing, they get in on vehicles. So I wouldn't really take that gamble. I'd take Power Claws over a Death Dread, I think. So
it's the same thing. I usually play Space Marines. I feel the same way. Like the last tournament I played for fun, I brought a 5 Ironclad Dreadnought list, and I played against Dark Eldar in the 3rd round, and it was
that's pretty brutal.
It was brutal.
Ironclad are nice, but
yeah, just kind of rolled my eyes the whole game as I got picked apart.
I'm pretty impressed with Zogstruck though, even though he died. This is the first time I've played him in this edition. I had him in the previous edition, so it's probably been 5 years since I've played him. So this isn't the actual model, this is just one I made. But the fact that he can deep strike and charge, and that his unit will basically never run away as long as he has someone else with him is really nice. So
that is pretty nice.
I didn't have to use that, but he has something called Violent Temper, where if you fail your test, he'll just execute one of the guys and then you pass it. So.
he's like a Vanguard Commissar.
Yeah, he's the Commissar of the Orks. So.
It's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. Well, if you had to do it, you said you'd probably hold your bikes back. What else do you think you would probably do differently if you to play again?
Possibly maybe a little bit different setup, where maybe I had stuff more consolidated. Maybe all my shooting within just maybe 2 of these, or 2.5 of these, so that I had more mobility with my bikes to go different places. Because when I started, I had stuff covering this whole area, and I had bikes starting clear over here and clear over here. And I think that hurt me too.
Well, you lost 3 bikers and took a wound.
Yep.
First movement phase.
Yep. First movement phase, I had a unit back here run away, and then I had 3 other units, I think, that had lost a guy or the knob took a wound. So
that's pretty gross.
So that definitely hurt me a bit. Normally with this list, I'll take Snickrot instead of Zogstruck, and he's pretty nasty too, because he can come in any table edge.
Yeah, he's pretty gross. I like that guy. The only thing I don't like about him is he doesn't have a power weapon.
He doesn't have a power weapon, but he can bring independent characters with him.
Right.
So you can put a war boss with him, or I could have brought Wazdaka on any table edge.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty gross. That's cool. Cool. All right, well, let me switch the camera with you. Let me think here. LVP, least valuable player, was definitely the pylon, which destroyed itself, or I keep calling them pylons, the monolith that destroyed itself. That was definitely the not good move. Shouldn't have done that. If I'd had that, I think I probably would have won, just because I could have, brought it in here, shot weapons with it, and then it would be this thing that was already close, and I move it up and just kind of make your life more difficult. Get rid of a lot more of these guys before they ever got to combat or something like that. I'm pretty impressed with a lot of the stuff in here. I thought it was cool. I did know I was playing against Orks, so I was able to tailor my Cryptex against you, which didn't really make a difference because I only ever used the flame template like 3 times, twice or something like that. So didn't feel like that was too overpowering. Like in retrospect, I might have just brought them as the strength 8 guys, but I knew you were bringing Orks. I didn't know what was in your army, so you could have had just vast mobs of Orks, which in which case the flamer templates would have come in much more handy. NVP is probably the monoliths that did survive, or the Necron Lords. They were pretty awesome to have around. They didn't. I mean, yeah, one of them got in there and killed some Ork guys, and helped with Zogstruck's unit a little bit, and then ran away, and then came back. And the other guy took out Wazdaka, and so those guys can be. I mean, it's 205 points the build that I had with them, but for 190 you can make them a basically like a Space Marine captain equivalent kind of. His weapon skill's not as good. He has just as many attacks though. His saves are just as good. Plus he gets the will be backs, and it gives it to the unit that he's with. So on a 4 better they come back. And then for 15 points, you can give him the phylactery, which will give him back D3 wounds when he comes back, if he comes back. So I don't know. I never had one of them fall. I don't know if I would do that, bring that in the future or not. But it is possible to make your characters pretty gross close combat wise, and I really think that helped me on the left flank over here. Without that, I feel like that would have gone a lot differently and could have gone a lot more poorly for me in general, and then he could have swept this flank instead. I think that, I think the only major thing I would do differently is just not drop that monolith the way I did. I think that one thing that I'm not a huge fan of, and I've rolled really well in some cases, like the unit that was over here that's still alive in combat right there, those guys were phenomenal. They made all of their will-be-backs, they just survived everything. They were really great. But in general, warriors now with armor 4 better, and then a 5 or better to come back, you can lose a lot of them in droves, especially if you're coming against somebody who's throwing a lot of firepower at you, like the Ludas did. And so if things had gone just a tad differently, if the Ludas had, if you had been able to charge the Scarabs here and kill them here, so I never got up there to your firepower with the Ludas, or with the Scarabs, because the Scarabs took out one unit and then tied up your fire for a turn. That could have been a major game changer, because you would have had those 2 units of Ludas that could not hurt the monoliths, but would be like, hey, we're just going to go to town on these warriors and just pick them apart. And that could have been a real game changer. So I'm feeling like I'm going to get some mortals maybe for this army, or the studio army when we construct that. Otherwise, yeah, I felt like it was pretty good. I like this terrain. It's pretty fun to play on. It's surprisingly enough, and it's pretty good terrain, and it's playable. Like sometimes we have terrain here that looks phenomenal and is awesome, but makes playing the game a little bit over the top difficult because there's just so much of it, or it's so thick or something like that. And I feel like this terrain didn't do that, so I was really happy with that. Having not played on it before, I was